All right. You're going to hear some noises in the background, but that's because my family is doing what they do at 6:30 p.m. I wanted to go over today's warm-up because I know it will help a lot of you to understand the cookie and soda activity a lot better. And it's also going to go over ratios, which I know some of you struggle with. So the warm-up today said that I have a chocolate bar, and my chocolate bar is 85 grams, and that 93% of it is the cocoa. And so it wants to know how many nitrogen particles, so number of nitrogen particles in my candy bar. So first thing we're going to do, this is the Stoich unit. So almost always you're going to need molar mass. So I'm just going to go ahead and figure out molar mass at the beginning because in my opinion that's the most annoying thing. And so I'm just going to get it out of the way. So carbon, I know that my carbon is going to be 12. I'm going to use the periodic table, look at the molecular weight. Normally that would be 12 AMU for one individual atom of carbon, but since we're talking about molar mass, it's going to be 12 grams. And in my formula, I have 7 carbons, so I'm going to multiply that by 7. Then I have hydrogen, which is going to be 1 gram because of the periodic table, and I have 8 of those. And then I have nitrogen, which is 14 grams, and I have 4 of those. And then I have oxygen, which is 16 grams, and I have 2 of those. So this is what I'm going to plug into my calculator, and then I'm going to add it all together, and that will tell me the molecular mass of this cocoa. So 12 times 7 is 84 grams. And I'm going to let you kind of work along with me to try to do this. And we should get about 180 grams. If you're struggling with that, let me know. I can always meet you on Google Meet and we can run through this. Not a problem. So now I have my molar mass. I'm going to go ahead and put molar mass equals 180 grams. All right, sweet. Well, I have 85 grams. So the problem starts me off with I have 85 grams, and I know that 93% of it is what I'm interested in. So that's just going to be a real simple math problem. I have 85 grams times 93%. Turn that into a decimal. And I'm going to get that I have 79.05 grams of my cocoa. And so now what I'm going to do with this is first, so whenever you're doing anything, if you're not given moles to start, the first rule of thumb is convert to moles. So always convert to moles first. So this is, I always give you guys tips and tricks and tell you where students struggle and where mistakes are made. And those mistakes inevitably get made anyway. But on this, the very first thing is that you must convert to moles. Okay? So I just tell you, put a box around it, put a star around it, highlight it, whatever. So there you go. The reason is because moles is going to be essentially what uses our conversion factor. Because remember, I'll write this in a different color. Remember that we said that 1 mole of anything will equal the molar mass. And so 1 mole is 180 grams, which is also equal to 6.023 times 10 to the 23rd particles. Those are our conversion factors. So if you remember from chapter 1, we talked conversion factors. Here's our conversion factors. So with that, I know that I have 79 grams. So my given, I know first and second units coming back to haunt you. I told you it would at the end of the year. Start and end with ratios. So at the start, we're given grams, and we know that our given goes over 1. Well, I want to cancel grams out, so I need something with grams over here. Well, and I know I want to convert it to moles, because that's what I told you we want to do first. So, moles to grams, moles to grams, grams to moles. Well, I noticed that 180 grams is equivalent to 1 mole. That's going to allow me to cross off my grams and get to the mole that I wanted to. So 79.05 divided by 180 equals 0.439. So we're going to round that to 0.44. Don't forget your units. So I have moles, and this is moles of, if you want to write the coca, that's fine. Okay, so great. Now that we have moles, well, that's not going to help me. I want to figure out particles of nitrogen, but there's no way for me to figure out how many particles are in 0.44 moles of my coca. So what I need to do first is find out how many particles are in that 0.44 moles. So I'm going to take 0.44 moles over 1, because that's my given. And I know that 1 mole is equal to 6.023 times 10 to the 23rd particles. So this is going to let me cancel out my moles, and it will leave me with the particles of coca, okay? So type that in your calculator. 6.023 times 10 to the 23rd. And you're going to multiply that by 0.44. And I get 2.65 times 10 to the 23rd. Don't forget your units. That's going to be particles of coca. Okay? So now, what we need to do is we need to get from the particles of the overall, but we know that that's not what we want. I know that I want nitrogen, and there's 4 nitrogens for every 1 coca particle. And that sounds like a conversion factor to me. So once again, take what we're given, which is what we ended with, times 10 to the 23rd. And I'm going to put it over 1 because that was my given. And so now, for every 1 particle of the coca, I have 4 particles of nitrogen. Because in my formula, I have the 4 of the nitrogen. So now I'm going to take that 2.65 times 10 to the 23rd, and I'm going to multiply it by 4, and I get 1.06 times 10 to the 24th. If you did your units correctly, then that's going to cancel and that's going to cancel, and so we end up with particles of nitrogen. So in 1 candy bar, I have 1.06 times 10 to the 24th particles of nitrogen. That's how you go about solving this. If it's confusing, now that you've seen me work through it, it would probably be best to maybe rewatch the video a couple times to get used to the pattern, because it's really working out the pattern and knowing when to convert to what that becomes the most difficult. If you're still struggling with it, office hours, not even office hours. I'm usually available most of the day. Contact me, send me a message, and I'll meet with you whenever it's convenient for you. The important thing is that with this unit, You must ask questions. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.